Good evening. As trials go, the Casey Anthony case blew up before our very eyes, becoming an ongoing obsession of the summer of 2011. For whatever reason, millions of people followed the case of this young woman who waited over a month to report her 2-year-old daughter was missing, later found dead, and who was caught in a number of lies along the way. After a trial that lasted just over a month, when the jury came back with a verdict after just 11 hours of deliberations, a guilty verdict was assumed by the experts. But that is not what happened in the courtroom today because, of course, guilt must be proven. We begin here tonight with NBC's Kerry Sanders in Orlando. Kerry, good evening.
Well, good evening, Brian. It took the 12-member jury just under 11 hours to reach their verdict, not guilty on all 3 felony counts.
Will the defendant rise along with counsel?
25-year-old Casey Anthony stood in the courtroom, no color in her face, as the clerk read the verdict.
As to the charge of first-degree murder, verdict as to count 1, we, the jury, find the defendant not guilty.
On the charge of aggravated child abuse.
We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty.
And on the charge of aggravated manslaughter of a child.
We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty. So say we all.
Casey Anthony took a deep breath and then began to cry as the clerk announced the jury's decision on 4 counts of providing false information to a law enforcement officer.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty.
She could face 4 years in prison on those charges, but today Casey was celebrating, embracing her legal team. The not guilty verdict stunned those watching this case.
The system has failed miserably.
Angry because those who tuned in to all or part of this 36-day trial expected a different outcome.
This isn't right. This is wrong. This is bad.
The trial verdict was watched around the world and even at 24,000 feet. A verdict won by lead defense attorney Jose Baez.
There are no winners in this case.
Who said 2-year-old Caylee Anthony's death should not be lost in her mother's acquittal.
Caylee has passed on far, far too soon. Casey did not murder Caylee. It's that simple.
If convicted, Casey Anthony could have faced a death penalty.
The best feeling that I have today is that I know I can go home and my daughter will ask me, "What did you do today?" And I can say I saved a life.
Prosecutors Jeff Ashton and Linda Drain Burdick, who tried this case, did not comment.
We're disappointed with the verdict today.
Their boss is state attorney Lawson Lamar.
I never ever criticize a jury. Theirs is the task of deciding what to believe.
The lead prosecutor in this case, Jeff Ashton, has announced this will be his last case. He is now retiring. The jurors were given an opportunity to comment. They chose not to. They are tonight on their way back home to St. Petersburg, Florida, about 100 miles from here. They had been sequestered in Orlando. Cindy and George Anthony released a statement from their attorney that reads in part, while the family may never know what has happened to Caylee Marie Anthony, they now have closure for this chapter of their life. Brian.
All right, Kerry Sanders starting us off in Orlando tonight. Kerry, thanks.